This and every episode of REKT Podcast is brought to you by Beaksy Exchange, an upcoming cryptocurrency exchange built in collaboration with One Market Data. Beaksy is bringing legacy finance speed, power, and sophistication to crypto for the first time. With 225,000 transactions per second per pair, comparable to NASDAQ, 15 order types on day one, with 25 order types on full rollout, and a dedicated customer support team, Beaksy is setting itself apart from the competition. Check out Beaksy today at Beaksy.com and pre-register today at Beaksy.com/registration to get your free Beaksy Exchange tokens. That's Beaksy.com, BEAXY.com.
This is Panama Crypto, and I'm in REKT.
Hello and welcome everybody. Crypto Chamber here. Unfortunately, all by myself with our guest, Panama Crypto. Our fearless leaders, Cynthia and Bunshu, couldn't make it this evening, but we're going to try and hold down the fort anyways. Like I'd mentioned, like we heard in the intro, we have Panama Crypto, straight from Panama. I wasn't 100% sure if you were from Panama, and we confirmed that. What's the temperature over there today?
It's like 35. Not Fahrenheit.
No. I live in Canada, so yes, I'm on the. I talk in Celsius as well, not Fahrenheit. But it's 35 Celsius there right now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's really warm.
Yeah, we had a couple of days last week. I live in Canada, and we had a couple of days last week in the minus 30s. So not ideal. I would much rather 35 degrees. Is it is it humid there as well, or is it a dry?
Right now it's dry season, so
that's okay.
It's just quite dry.
So before we get started, I just want to tell you about our friends at Honey Miner, one of the very first advertisers we've had on the show. They're back, and they have a massive announcement. They now support Linux. So have you ever wanted to get into crypto mining, but you never had an idea how? Well, Honey Miner is the easiest way to get started. With their one-click install, earn Bitcoin straight to your computer right away. They support Windows and Linux now, with Mac coming soon. So let's talk about this Linux for a second. This is compatible with Ubuntu 16.04 and Ubuntu 18.04 or CentOS 7. Honey Miner Max pays out market value plus 10%. As with all mining payouts, this may fluctuate a little bit, but payout periods are every 2 hours. That should average out to be about 10% greater than open market earnings. Sound cool? If you're interested, check them out at honeyMiner.com/labs. So, Mr. Panama Crypto, what we're all wanting to know is, how did you get into crypto to begin with?
Oh man, it's a long story.
What's the genesis story?
I heard first of Bitcoin back in 2011 through Andreas.
Okay, Mr. Antonopoulos?
Saw a few videos on YouTube and was very interested about the whole thing about decentralization, and didn't quite understand the whole concept about Bitcoin, and obviously started investigating and digging through all the influencers back then, but didn't actually went into buying any, because I noticed that where you held your Bitcoins wasn't 100% bulletproof, and I've been always sort of paranoid about InfoSec security and whatnot.
Of course.
Deciding not to actually buy any, but it was always on top of my head, and always was checking the prices. But until 2015,
okay,
I had some extra cash from my paycheck, so I started buying fractions of Bitcoins and lost it all on nitrogen sports, mindlessly betting on like college football, NFL, soccer.
A true degenerate.
Yeah, but like 0.9 BTC and lost it all like in 2 weeks, like a retard.
Really?
Then
Did you say 0.9?
0.9, yeah. So early 2017, I was fortunate. Well, not fortunate. My wife started working in the hospital, so she had graveyard shifts and whatnot. I had to spend a lot of time in the hospital, so I had a lot of free time in my hands, and started checking all the cryptocurrency and started diving in on Twitter and reading more about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and decided to buy a lump sum of. This is really not good. Bought some Ripple when it was like close to 400, 500 sats.
Really?
Bought some Ethereum. Didn't even buy any Bitcoin, to be honest.
Really?
But on the bull runs of early April 1st, or something, I put like $400 and became like $7,000. It was insane. I was like, I'm a fucking god. But
no kidding.
It came January 2018 and that all went to shit. So it was a really good 7-8 months run, the bull run. And fortunately enough, I took a lot of profits from those runs. Didn't do exceedingly well, but on 2018, on the bear market, I was actually doing really good with the masternodes and staking and whatnot. So
what are some of the masternodes you run?
I used to have back in September, before September, I had a lot of masternodes. I used to have 4, Gin, Calculus, well, I don't remember right now.
That's fantastic.
Algo coin.
Yeah.
I had at least 20 masternodes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, different coins, but the masternodes in general, like a lot.
That's crazy. Yeah, masternodes always kind of scared me. Seems like it's a little too complex for my ability at this moment. But to have 20,
it was really complex for me at the beginning because there wasn't a really straightforward masternode hosting service, and there wasn't really a guide to how to deploy them. So with trial and error, I managed to deploy 10 masternodes consecutively, and I ended up doing a guide that actually was really popular. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's also one of my articles that people like the most.
Really? No, we were talking before the show that I really enjoyed your security Medium article. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but no, I'm gonna have to go back and read that one on masternodes. So
yeah, it's really structured, so you can actually take the guide side by side, your wallet, whatever you deploy the masternode, and walk it through, and fortunately we'll get your masternode enabled. Really?
Well, we'll make sure we'll make sure that we have a link in the show notes too for both the cybersecurity one and the masternode one. So that's interesting. I have to read that one for sure. So here on the REKT podcast, what we like to do, just to kind of give you a little background, I got in at the very height of the 2017.
Oh man, sorry to hear.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I'm still around. Made a podcast to, drown my tears. But so I got in, literally end of November in 2017. Bought some Bitcoin, fractions of Bitcoins, but bought some. and then started buying alts, and then within a 2 to 3 week period, like I thought I was a genius. I'm like, oh, this is the smartest decision I've ever made. I think I'd like 3 or 4x my money.
Yeah, I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5. I'm gonna
right, exactly. I'm like, this is. So a lot of people talk about the bull run being a couple of months. I'm like, I had 3 weeks of good bull run. That was it. But
nothing but pumping.
Nothing but pump. Like I remember like refreshing my phone, and like every 5 minutes it was just up. Like I kept showing. Like I remember I'd be so excited, I'm just showing my wife. I'm like, look at my phone. Look at this. Look, it was at your this
portfolio.
Number. Yeah, it was crazy. I had so much. And she thought I was a genius too, and now she does not think I'm a genius. But to kind of you just want to learn so much when you first get into crypto. So I'm a big podcast guy, so I would listen to a lot of podcasts. Some of the YouTubers were interesting, but I was definitely more on the podcast side. And I would listen to the major crypto podcasts. And one of my favorite things was when guests would come on and they would talk about how they would get, how they got in 2014, or they got in the previous bull runs, and they got wrecked, and what they did to kind of get through it. I really like that part of the conversation. So the idea behind this show was we wanted to, I like to really talk about those, those periods where people got in and maybe have gotten wrecked, or, maybe made a bad decision where other people can kind of learn from it. So I know you'd mentioned the 0.9 BTC, you lost betting. Are there any other like crypto wreck stories that you would have? Maybe some things that I can learn from, or maybe some of the listeners can learn from?
Well, fortunately, as I mentioned, I got on early March, some coins, and basically rode all the way up on the bull run. But as a beginner in 2017, I had really, really bad trades. Strat killed me most of the time, library coin, and like at least 15, 20 really, really bad trades. Fortunately enough, I have my wife that always was on my back, saying like, this could go to shit anytime. Why don't you take profits? I'm like greedy as fuck. Like, no, I'm gonna leave this in crypto, because by next couple months the market cap is gonna be on 3 trillion.
Right, exactly.
Out of my asshole. And saying stuff like that. But fortunately, every time I had like good gains, I took profits many times.
Good. That's very good.
Fortunately, but as in really, really bad trades, I guess like in everybody else.
Yeah, I think everybody got some.
But the most retarded thing is like betting Bitcoin on anything, like in sports, on the casino, dice.
Right.
I saw today many times people talking about when they started on Bitcoin back in whatever year that was, is that people wanted fast money and were pretty impatient to get profits really fast. And it's something that I guess I learned from my experience in 2015. And I honestly been a degenerate since, I guess, all my life.
Yeah.
When I was 18, the little money I had, I spent it all on blackjack on the casino.
Really?
So I always liked to get fast money, like things that they were really fast. So I obviously got wrecked on playing blackjack, and 2015 betting my first Bitcoins. So I guess I've reached the point of maturity where I know myself and have grown to understand that I need to be patient in order to be profitable.
That's smart. Well, you'd mentioned, you're kind of, if you're a degenerate, you're born a degenerate, and I'm also a degenerate. I try not to gamble too much just because I know what's gonna happen. It's not gonna be good. So I try to stay away from it as much as possible. But you say from like when I was a kid, I remember, I don't know what grade maybe I was like 12 or 13, and my mom found this this pencil case that was filled with. I might be. Do you guys have like scratch tickets in Panama? You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can play like the crossword or bingo or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I kept all my losers. I would keep all the losers, and I would put it in this pencil case. And my mom found it, and I forget how much, like hundreds of dollars worth that I had spent. It was just stacks of them. And she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I buy them, all the time." And yeah, she's like, "You can't buy, like, who's buying these for you? You're like 12 years old." I'm like, I just ask people if they're going into the corner store, and I'll give them $5, and like, where are you getting the money? I'm like, well, maybe I'm getting it from you when you're not looking. What? But yeah, no, I would take money out of my mom's purse and.
Oh man, that's really bad.
Yeah, well, I just loved the scratch tickets. I would get addicted to them, and like I said, I would keep all the losers. And she had found the losers, and she was not very happy. So I try to stay away from gambling as much as I can.
Yeah, you should. It's really, really bad.
Well, I was in Vegas last weekend.
And addicting.
Yeah, I was working in Vegas last weekend, and the hotel I was staying at, I was walking around, late one morning or early one morning, I guess, and one of the craps tables was empty, and I don't know how to play craps, and the guy at the craps table taught me how to play craps, and I blew like, I don't know, a couple $100 playing craps. But man, that was a fun game too. But yeah,
yes, I'm always trying to find a way to rig the system to be legitimately money fast without hurting anyone.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's a good.
That's the spirit of a true degenerate.
That is the spirit of a true degenerate. So, just moving on here, we also like to talk about. So we in the past, our past guests, we've come out with some pretty interesting, what we call real life REKs. And what that is just like a REK story that happened in real life that has nothing to do with crypto. Maybe just, something insane that you saw one time. One of the stories I gave, just to kind of give you an idea of how crazy you can get, was we had rented a beach house for a family vacation, and there was a gentleman, I don't know, he was swimming, he ended up drowning, and he washed up on our beach, dead. It was insane. It was right in the middle of our week vacation there, and the cops had to come, and the ambulance came and took him away, and we had to hide the kids so they didn't see, so they could go swimming. We had our own private beach, and he washed right up on our private beach. It was insane. So you can
get as gory story.
Yeah, so you can get as crazy as you want, or as as safe as you want. So just so you know, it's a safe space. There's no judgment here.
Oh man, that's a really gory story. Well, thinking out of the top of my head, I used to work for this American dude here in Panama. He used to do like offshore investments, and he also did some of tax evasion, obviously, because it was based here in Panama. Nothing to do with the Panama Papers.
Okay.
And we were about to stop his whole business here in Panama. So I was in process of moving out of the office and moving back with my parents, because I didn't have enough money to live off my own place. So I had this motorcycle, and this weekend I decided to have a few beers on my friend the mechanic, and then drive back to the office. So obviously I got wrecked. Hit like a spot of oil in the street.
Oh, really?
And did like a front flip like 10 times. Managed to pick up the bike and drive to the office. So
what?
I was in the process. Yeah, my knee was really bad. My left toe was really bad. To this day,
did you break any bones or anything?
I didn't actually break anything.
Wow.
But I hit so hard that I had to go to the hospital. You could actually see my, how do you call the bone in your knee?
Like the kneecap, like the patella?
Yeah, the kneecap, you could actually see the bone through the scrape on my knee. And since I was wearing like boots, my toe like broke, but I didn't notice until 6 months after.
Okay.
And my both hands were like peeled to the meat itself. So it was a pretty bad experience.
Yeah.
But that's not all. On that week, I went like basically all in with all my savings into buying spirulina. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't.
Spirulina is like an algae that it's planted in some countries. Like, at least myself, I bought it from a producer in Cuba.
Okay.
Which is really good, and they also, I think, they produce it in Hawaii and some other countries. Obviously, I think they also do it in China. So I spent like $7,000 on this spirulina that I
$7,000.
Yeah, in my parents' place, and I couldn't even sell it because I was in pain.
I guess. Oh my goodness!
From the accident. So that was possibly my most wrecked moment in my life. I think I was rock bottom.
No,
most definitely.
That's crazy. That's a good story.
And it took me like a year to sell all that spirulina.
And did you make a profit, or did you break even, or?
I cut my losses. Like,
okay, all right.
I think I got like back like at least $3,500 or something like that.
Oh, really?
But in the meantime, I recovered. I passed a few months, and then I found a 9 to 5. I started working, and as a night job, I tried to sell all that to my friends that were on charity mode, trying to buy it off me.
Wow, well, that's nice. So, all right. So that is a very good story, considering I dropped that on you at the last minute. That was a very good pull. So now we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna get into the news. So, not that long ago, our good friend Jack from Twitter.
I wish he was my friend.
I know. Sometimes if you say it enough, you can speak it into existence. So at Jack put out a little tweet saying, Bitcoin is resilient, Bitcoin is principled, Bitcoin is native to internet ideals, and it's a great brand. So big pro tweet from Jack. And then
I wet my pants when I read that.
Well, I was going to say you retweeted with comment saying that you think the rest of social moguls will let Jack let Bitcoin pass, expect them to hop on the train to address the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency soon. So I'm hoping to see a pump anytime. I haven't yet, but
yeah, we actually got a dip.
We actually got a dip, right?
$70.
Not even Jack can make the market pump. So what are your thoughts on this?
It's actually pretty good comment from one of the most important guys in social media. I actually don't understand what are the market dynamics after some statement like that one. But I expect the price is gonna rise from now on, but it hasn't.
It has not. No.
No, but in general, I think the rest of the social media moguls will follow the lead from Jack, and we come out with a statement saying something. I don't know if similar or even.
That's a pretty
praising Ethereum or of some other cryptocurrency of their likings, and or some of them are already affiliated of some cryptocurrencies.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, they could already be
maybe affiliated. I don't know. Maybe we have some Ripple coins lovers.
Yep.
So hopefully not, but
hopefully not.
I wish all of them say something positive about Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't get much more positive than the tweet he put out. So it'll be interesting to see who follows suit. I think Jack's been on a press tour as of late. I think he was talking about Bitcoin on Joe Rogan's podcast the other day. Him and Joe were talking about that. That's huge. And I believe he's on. He popped up on one of my feeds today. I think he's on the Sam Harris podcast. So I'll have to listen to that, see if they talk about Bitcoin. But it'll be it's interesting. So I'm not sure if he's on a media tour just talking about Bitcoin, which would be great. But yeah, interesting.
Actually, Jack is invested in Lighting Labs. He put up invested like 2.5 million on that company. So he has skin in the game.
Yeah, he does have skin in the game. Interesting. So the next piece of news we're going to talk about here is unfortunately a little close to home for me. Canadian crypto exchange Quadriga CX says it cannot repay most of the $190 million in client holdings after its 30-year-old founder, Gerald Cotton, apparently the only person who knew the passwords to the cold storage wallet, unexpectedly died in India. Pretty.
I call it scam.
I mean, that's pretty scammy.
Yeah, that's pretty scammy.
So apparently, the exchange holds roughly just over 26,000 Bitcoin, 11,000 Bitcoin Cash, 11,000 Bitcoin Cash SV, 35,000 Bitcoin Gold, 200,000 Litecoin, and just under 500,000 Ether. I mean, I live in Canada. I use Quadriga, or I used to use Quadriga to go in and out of Canadian dollars. So
is it Quadriga or Quadringa?
I've always said
Quadringa.
I think it's Quadriga. It's QUA.
Yeah, it's Quadriga. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I always called it Quad because I'm cool. But I would use it to go in and out of like Canadian dollars. So, if I could connect my bank account to it, transfer money, and convert that to BTC, and then I would send that to, other wallets or to other exchanges.
Another exchange in Canada.
There was
a scam like a Maple Leaf. What's it called?
Yeah, I think it was called Maple Exchange. That was maybe a month or two ago. That one,
that was really recent ago.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that one. So, but apparently it had enough, had enough money, or had enough, it had enough crypto on it. It wasn't in the neighborhood of like 190 million, but like that's a big one. So I literally went on it because I hadn't used it in a few months. So I was like, I like to go on the websites to make sure my passwords are working properly. So I was kind of doing like a checkup on it last Friday, and sure enough, I had like we were talking about before the show, the Cryptopia, homepage.
Cryptopia maintenance page.
Yeah, I'm like, not good. Thank goodness I personally didn't have anything on that one. Again, I just use that more as a bridge, like an on-ramp or on-ramp, off-ramp. But I'm like, oh, geez, not another one. And like I said, this one was a big one. Like this is, I would say, any major
26,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, like this is like I talking to guys like Not So Fast and Nitacoin. I'm pretty sure these we all kind of, anybody in Canada, we're using that exchange to put money back into our account. At least converting from Bitcoin into Canadian dollars. That was the best way to do it. So. Yeah, it was definitely unlike Maple Exchange. I don't think anybody knew. I'd never heard about that one, but this one was a big deal. Like this is like my mother-in-law called me. She's like, "Oh, did you have any money on there?" Yeah, exactly. So when the normies are calling you, it's serious.
The surprising thing is that this guy was was really young. He was only 30 years
30 years old. I'm just reading that now. I thought it was some, maybe somebody
old fart.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe in their 50s or 60s, right? But yeah, that's young. That's younger than I am.
I was expecting somebody like 60. 50,
yeah. Yeah. When I read 30 years old, I'm like, oh shit, this guy's younger than me. But yeah, I don't know about this story. Having only one person know the password for the cold storage wallet, but apparently
this smells like scam. Really, really planned scam.
I'm pretty sure I read that there was some activity out of some of the wallets. I think Kraken was kind of monitoring some things. I know Kraken got involved, saying like we're going to help you, find help you with the issue.
I think Crypto medicated the unfamous guy.
Yes,
made a medium about the whole wallet movements between whole wallet and cold wallet.
Right,
and was vastly discredited.
Oh, was it
because of his history? This girl from my crypto wallet, what's her name? Let me look for her real quick. Started investigating the same with Peter Todd and some other guys that are Bitcoin maximalists. So many people are looking on the subject, and many people say that it's most likely a scam.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem pretty scammy. Like I said, I was just talking to my wife, who knows very, very little about the crypto world. I just kind of told her what happened. She kind of looked at me like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, that's bullshit. So
yeah, it's like you being a bank and you having the keys for the safe, and you are the only one that has keys to the safe. That's
right.
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah, I don't think so. And again, this is not some small exchange. This is a big exchange, like a pretty big exchange. So
yeah, her name is Taylor Monahan, and
Taylor Monahan, yeah,
CEO of My Crypto.
Yeah, I think she was part of the My Ether wallet, and then split off to My Crypto wallet, I think.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she's very good. So she's been looking into it as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, yeah, another day, another exchange,
another dull day at crypto.
Every day, it's like they talk about the 24-hour news cycle. I think in crypto, it's more like a 14-hour news cycle. Like, it's crazy. There's something happening all the time.
Like, whenever I open my Twitter, there's something new happening.
The only thing that makes me happy. I was going to say, the only thing that makes me happy is your videos when I scroll through Twitter.
What videos? The sexy videos?
The sexy videos. Yes, of course, the sexy videos.
People love those. Actually, you need to have a balance in your feed, because if you post, like, pretend to be a smart thing all the time, you don't get much traction. But if you post that, you get plenty of.
Absolutely, you need balance. This is good. This is a good advice here. Balance on your feed.
Yeah, like, for example, I spent like 3 months doing investigation, managing to contact some guys on Twitter, influential guys, really top notch, and you get like a dozen likes, and you spend like 3 months doing that. But your friends send you a WhatsApp video of a sexy girl, and you post that, and it's like utter success. You don't even have to struggle finding content.
And they're great too. They are like. I always think, I'm like, I don't know who these people are. Are they like? Do you know these girls, or is this just things you find out?
I don't know those girls.
That's too bad.
I have plenty of friends that are single, and I'm still in a WhatsApp group with them. And whenever they have good videos, they send them over.
Oh, that's great.
Sometimes I need to filter, because most of the time it's not for Twitter content.
Right? It has to be.
It's really XXX.
Yeah, we want to just maybe 1x or 2x.
yeah. I need to keep it PG-13.
Absolutely. Well, no, that's my problem. As I'm on Twitter all the time, I have a 5-year-old daughter. I have to keep some, restraints on some of what happens on my feed. So, yeah, I think that your stuff is reasonable. Your stuff passes.
Having Brenna's spark on my feed, like doing a BJ or
right, exactly.
like popping up on my feed. I'm like,
oh no,
come on, man, come on.
Yeah, no.
Keep it self-formed.
No, I have a lot of times where it'll just show up like, this tweet maybe your settings aren't allowing you to view this tweet. So I get that a lot, just to make sure I'm okay. I have a separate Twitter for if I want to look at anything fun, more fun than that.
Your wife better not know that.
No, I think she's okay. I think she has a separate Twitter feed too. I'm not sure. So, in talking of security, we were talking about your Medium article for Masternodes, but what I've been reading lately with all the the hacks and exit scams and uncertainty in the market, I've been really liking your the 10 Commandments of Crypto Security article that you made. I think that was in the summer. Is that right?
Yeah. Summer last year.
Last year. So I thought it was really good. So what I thought, maybe not all of our listeners had a chance to read it, so we're going to put it in the show notes. But I kind of wanted to go over some of the highlights of this, and maybe just I'll give you the talking point, and then you just kind of elaborate on it. So, we'll go down the 10 commandments. So, commandment number 1: do not use SMS 2FA on your accounts. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Well, at least in the States, it's really, really, really easy to port your SIM card to a new phone.
Right, like a SIM swap?
For example, if you have like something like Verizon or AT&T, customer service is really flexible in order for you to port your number to a new device. So at least here in Panama, it's not the case, because you have to physically go to the mobile service provider and give them your ID in order for them to give you access to a new mobile phone, to your old number, right? So at least it's not in most cases in Latin America, which is where I live, but in the States, it's really, really that you hear often that people get their phones ported, and
I hear that all the time.
It's a big issue, because it's quite easy to get the 2FA SMS text. Is really popular in the States, but not so in Latin America.
No, we don't use it here in Canada either. I think I think we definitely use more the the 2FA Google authenticators and all the different 2FA programs. But yeah, we don't use a lot of SMS.
If you that enabled on, for example, on your Gmail as your backup recovery medium, anybody can get access to all of your accounts.
Right.
So if you have a single email, and which is email, and you use it on all your exchanges,
mm-hmm.
you can easily also get the hacker could get a new recovery codes for all your accesses on exchanges, accounts, social media, whatever you're using the SMS 2FA, especially if you have it in an email, is most dangerous there.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so number 2, the commandment number 2 is set up 2FA. So like we were talking about before, I use 2FA Google Authenticator. Is there a program that you like more than others, or?
At least myself, I use swapped from Google Authenticator to Auth.
Okay.
Just because in the case that you lose your phone,
mm-hmm.
You can recover all the seeds that you have on Auth. Like if you have a mega list as myself in Auth,
yes.
you can recover all of them. In case of Google Authenticator, you cannot. If you lose your phone, you're fucked.
Well, I just switched phones a couple of months ago, or maybe not even, maybe 2 months ago, and
it is as easy to use as Google Authenticator.
Oh, perfect. Well, that's good to know, because when I switched, I switched all my content over to my new phone, Google Authenticator was there, but none of the accounts were there. So now what I do is I use my old phone. I just keep that in my office, and that's my authenticator.
I keep it offline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the best way to go. I heard some people that use an iPod,
Yep.
which don't have even connection to
That's smart.
internet. I keep it offline full time and use it for 2FA.
That's a good idea. So commandment number 3, get a hardware wallet and use it. So I did the first part. I do have a hardware wallet. I don't use it a lot right now. It's a ledger. I personally, I use Exodus a lot on my laptop. Again,
What is Exodus?
Exodus is a laptop wallet. It's a good program. Big fan, but it's obviously not as safe as the
ledger.
As the ledger. Now,
Or Trezor.
do you have a preference, a ledger versus maybe Trezor, or?
They are on top. Like both are actually tied for number one. Really.
Okay, perfect. Now,
But
do you like?
There's also one like cool wallet. It's really practical. It's it's the same size as a credit card.
Really? Is that the black one?
Also, really often. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't used one, but yeah, I definitely.
They're starting to come out with the special graphics. They came out with a nice Michael Nice a picture on it, which seems really cool.
Yep.
But it's also really cheap. It's like, I think it's $69. It's cheaper.
Oh, really?
Than the top of the line ledger and Trezor.
That's all right. Okay, commandment number 4: don't be a flashy douche. That's my favorite commandment so far, by the way. Don't be a flashy douche.
It's basically not putting a target on your forehead. Like this guy Filicon flashing his bank statement, like saying he has a deposit of 16,000, 5,000.
Right.
Like he becomes instantly a target.
He is definitely one of the biggest targets in crypto Twitter for sure.
Yeah, especially him. But in general, like at least in 2017, 2018, early 2018, you saw a lot of people posting their actual portfolio. And
you had posted
total assets. Like that's so fucking dumb.
Well, you had posted something the other day on Twitter about Ian. I think didn't you post something about Ian Bellina the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
like that's one guy that's a perfect example where I remember seeing him post his Blockfolio and he had, was it like $2 million or something?
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. And
it was really often. And yeah, he lost
lost
2.5 million or something like that.
Yeah.
He started, when I started following him in 2017, he had like a portfolio of 60,000, which is normal. And he's started growing exponentially because of the icon mania back then.
Of course, yeah.
So obviously he didn't trade those amounts, and he had a shitload of coins and profits from those icons. So having posts on that on Twitter saying like I have this amount, and not having any infosec protection, and saving your private keys on your Evernote, that's pretty.
Do you know what I use Evernote? Do you know what I use Evernote for? I use Evernote to get my grocery list. That's it. when I go to the grocery,
I use Evernote to keep numbers of documents from my family and stuff like that, but not actual private keys.
That seems crazy.
Why, if you hold 2.5 million, why would you keep the private keys in your Evernote? Don't you have enough money to buy for a hardware wallet?
Right. Like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
And plenty of the icons that existed back in 2017, most of them were REKT, so they're Ethereum based. So you probably could store it on your ledger, on your Trezor. Either one of them.
Yeah, that's crazy. That blows my mind. All right. Number 5. Commandment number 5. Be anonymous. there has been a trend lately of people doxing themselves, and I'm assuming you don't agree with this.
I still don't agree with it. This guy, Andre Preoteasa, is a IT security professional. He says that, well, I'm going to put my point first. At least if you, for example, let's say like in 2025 when Bitcoin is like, I don't know, 100,000 minimum.
I hope so.
And I have my face on Twitter and people in the street see me. In Latin America, for example, in Brazil, Mexico, that's for sure a cause to get you kidnapped. For sure.
Right?
Especially in Latin America.
Yeah, they don't mess around with the kidnapping in Latin America, right?
No.
And I mean, you're not too far from, my geography might be wrong, but you're not too far from Colombia, correct?
No, it's just...
Are you bordering with Colombia?
Yeah.
You border with Colombia. Medellin's right there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
that's a scary
import
place.
the kidnappers and they could kidnap me, right? So
yeah, no,
I rather keep myself and my family and friends safe than nobody knows physically who I am,
right?
Than putting my face out there and exposing me to get kidnapped for a few $1,000.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I agree. So I'm anonymous.
At least in Panama is actually really safe. I'm not saying that Panama is unsafe, but I'm really self-conscious on the part of personal security, infosec, and I try to keep a really low key on everything. Like I don't like to flash. Like I don't drive a Lexus. I try to keep low key. I don't dress flashy. I don't have a Rolex. Like I really try to be low key. And in the States, you could be the opposite and still have a strong infosec, and you'll be fine. Like it's totally different cultures, but in Latin America, it's not the case.
No, that's it's some serious stuff. So I'm anonymous myself, but it's not because I'm scared of people going to kidnap me. Is because it's embarrassing buying the top of a bull run. So I just don't want I don't want anybody to know who I am.
That's a legit reason.
Yeah, that is a legit reason. So number 6, we just talked about it now, is don't dox yourself. I think that's pretty self-explanatory for the reasons that we were talking about. We'll skip to number 7.
Well, there's actually
go ahead.
Difference between 5 and 6. That is, be anonymous is like don't put a picture of yourself in social media. You don't give your name. But in the 6 is that don't dox yourself. It means like don't give tips to hackers or kidnappers or thugs of what are your whereabouts, how much you're holding in cryptocurrencies, money. It's like not giving them pieces of the puzzle so they can figure who they are, where do you live, who are your family members, who are your friends, and stuff like that.
No, that's a good point. So yeah, like you said, like you get a couple of pieces to the puzzle. Sometimes you can figure out the rest.
Exactly.
No, that makes sense. Okay, number 7, different email for different types of accounts. So this kind of ties back into the 2FA we were talking about. This is another step. This is, if you're using the same Gmail.
For example, it's in InfoSec. You try to compartmentalize your accesses. The best approach is to have like different emails for different type of accesses, because for example, if you only have one email and use it for everything, for example, if you have SMS 2FA authenticator on your email that you use for everything, if that gets hacked, you lose access to everything, to your social media, to Facebook, to your Medium, to your exchanges, to bank accounts, to everything. You lose it all. But if you have an account for Twitter, an email account for Twitter, for Facebook, even that sounds really complicated to have a single email, but it's the most paranoid way, the most safe way to keep it safe. But if you want to have a middle ground of social media, you have a single email for social media, a single email for your bank account, a single email for your exchange it. And if you get hacked on Facebook, your email that you use for Facebook or social media, only those get compromised. Not your bank account, not your exchange account.
Right.
So it is really important to keep a really strong password and as two-factor authentication on your email, because email is like the central point of failure. If your email fails, all your accesses that are linked to that email get compromised, because everything gets recovered through your email.
No, that's a good point. So I like that. This is some good information. I hope people are paying attention, because shit is hitting the fan as of late. I'm going to move to number 8 here. Bookmark websites. This is a really smart one. I've been doing this since I started in crypto. But explain why bookmarking your websites for, I'm assuming, exchanges
it's basically because it's really easy to put an ad on Google, and hackers or people that do phishing put a fake. For example, if you type Binance there, well, not as of lately, but at least in 2017 or 2018, you had phishing websites. If you type any type of exchange in Google, and the first 3 or 4 or 5 searches that appear on Google were probably phishing websites. Now it's more controlled, but still, it's a risk to type the exchange that you're trying to log in through Google. It's better to type it on the URL bar or have it even saved on your bookmarks, because you could get a bad website link through Google, which is not the best option to access.
I know some of the websites I use, like obviously Binance, will have make sure you look at the you're confirming the link in the bar.
The HTTPS is certification and whatnot.
And KuCoin, I use KuCoin a little bit. I'm a big I talk about KuCoin a lot on the show. But
you have the Dragon Chain coin.
I'm not one of the Dragon Chain guys, but I do like a good KuCoin gem when I can find one.
I love the video of Not So Fast making fun of the Dragon Chain people.
The Dragon Chain people.
Probably one of my favorite videos.
They are something else. They are that's it's very when people fall in love with a coin, I tell you they get pretty manic. So no, I think I had Dragon Chain for a little bit, but not a huge Dragon Chain guy. But I know on KuCoin, when I sign in, when I set up my account, that you can use like a secret word that shows up, and if that word doesn't show up the right way, then it's like a phishing website. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a cool. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but I thought that was an interesting way to to have an additional security for to prevent phishing. But yeah, so no, I do see that in a few different in a few different sites. So
those are really nice. Those are really nice to have on user end side. But
absolutely.
On starting on your side, you should have especially if you're managing actual Bitcoin or crypto, because it's actual money. It's really important that you have that saved on your computer, and don't even try to access exchanges and computers of people you don't know.
Right. Well, this brings you to number 9. Use VPN on untrusted Wi-Fi. And the first sentence of this one is maybe my favorite. It says, using Wi-Fi of unknown trustworthiness is like having sex without a condom with a complete stranger. See, when you say it like that, it makes me want to use untrusted Wi-Fi. because anonymous unprotected sex sounds like a good time, but it can hurt you in the long run. I think that's the point of this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Using untrusted Wi-Fi for crypto could hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, at least in Latin America, you don't have as proficient hackers as in the US.
Right.
So Wi-Fi hotspots are really clean down here. But
okay.
For example, I wouldn't trust a international airport hotspot or a cafe hotspot.
Yep.
I don't know. It's
we've seen
it's exactly as it's stated there. Like it's having sex without a condom.
Well, we've seen in the past. We've seen in the past where I think I know some cafes. I think maybe Starbucks. When you would sign into their Wi-Fi, there was somebody had put in like a miner to mine Monero. I think it was at one point. Like you never know what's happening with those free Wi-Fi spots.
Yeah, especially if it's free. But
exactly.
also the service provider of, as I've read in the past week, that VPN provider services are not that trustworthy. So you need to be careful with this one.
Okay, that's a good point. So number 10, the last commandment, antivirus and firewall yourself. So you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. Well, overall, on this whole list, before posting it, I checked with few hackers and IT experts on the subject. Mr. Hawk, the same Andrea Proteasa, The Mask, and most of them were in accordance with all the points except the last two. The part of the VPN is like there's not many trustworthy companies providing VPN services. The same for antivirus and firewalls. Most of them say that, at least the one I'm using right now, Symantec and Kaspersky and some others are not really trustworthy because they let in NSAs, backdoors, Trojans, malware, undetected. So you're better off without a Windows, antivirus, or even the firewall itself.
What about a John McAfee antivirus?
That's McAfee. Well, I don't know, man.
No, you can hire.
There's a two-edged sword on antivirus. And,
I think you can just hire him now, and he just stays by your computer and make sure nobody hacks into it. I think that's the new McAfee.
He's really bad. Even he got his Twitter handle hacked. A few months back. I think it was last year.
No, I think you're right. I think it was last year, but he definitely got hacked too. So that pretty much does it for your great Medium article. I really like this one. That's all the questions I have for you. I just want to give you an opportunity if you wanted to plug anything you're working on, any projects you're working on, anything. The floor is yours.
Right now, I'm working with a few projects, but nothing to hype on right now. Some of them are low key because they're doing development and planning deployment soon. But once that's allowed to be shared with everybody, you will know my Twitter feed. So I appreciate for the opportunity.
Well, I was
to shield my projects and having me on board on REKT podcast.
Honestly, this is a great episode. I was a little nervous having to do it all by myself because normally Bunchu steers the ship around.
I'm really resented to Cynthia that not showing for the podcast. Actually,
I would call them out on Twitter because I think that
I will.
But for the people that aren't following on Twitter, I mean, you're one of my favorite follows. You have the sexy videos. You have great articles.
Probably say that to everybody.
No, this. I'm serious. Good articles, and honestly, I'm not a big reader, but articles that are written in a way that's very easy to read but very informative.
People don't like to read usually, so I try to make them like to the spotlight, to the sweet spot, so everybody gets benefits from the articles.
Absolutely. So Panama Crypto is trying to help everybody out. He's giving you nice stuff to look at. He's giving you good stuff to read. He's not flashy. He's not a flashy douche. He's got good. He's got good security. I mean, there's a total package. But I just want to thank you for your time. If you're not following Panama Crypto, we'll make sure to tag them in the episode tweet. This episode is going to come out on Thursday, I believe, Thursday the 7th. So we'll make sure to tag in that. We'll tag the Medium articles as well. But for myself, for REKT Podcast, I'm Crypto Chamber, and don't get wrecked, and that is financial advice.